Welcome back, Sebastian. Here, time for my review of the Formula 2 sprint race for the Silverstone round. So very, very wet conditions to start. Risk of rain was 100%. Antonelli started on pole with Maloney second, and drivers were on wet tires to start. They announced it was going to be a rolling start, so luckily for Antonelli, he couldn't stall it like he'd done in Spain. Antonelli has a good start. Behrman tries to make moves up the field on that opening lap and loses his front wing end plate, I believe trying to overtake Jack Crawford into turn 3. Bortolato overtakes Crawford for P4 at Maggots on lap 3. The virtual safety car is called for that debris from that front wing end plate. Doesn't last very long and ends quite quickly. It doesn't even last a lap, because on lap 3, Paul Aron overtakes Isaac Hadjar for P10 at Maggots. Lap 4, Cordial was in the pits, and then Correa spins at the final corner, and I write aquaplaning question mark as the rainy conditions were intensifying a bit at this point. And race control calls a red flag right away, so it does seem that I guess they saw the first signs of aquaplaning and decided no, enough is enough. And we had a bit of a 15-minute delay or so for that red flag. We have 2 laps under the safety car just to kind of try to clear some of the water, and then we have a rolling start again. Bortolato trying to overtake his teammate Miney again, so definitely seems to have the pace, just not able to get past. Cordial was given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which does seem quite harsh, but it seems that perhaps he did it on the entry to the red flag, in which case there would have been no excuse for him to be speeding in the pit lane, because it's not like you're trying to do a pit stop or anything at that point. Or it can also have been that he was so far over what that pit lane speed was that they decided that they needed to give the harsher penalty. Lap 8, Aron and Marti are falling down the order, Hadjar as well, and we get a safety car. And what happens was basically Aron was battling with O'Sullivan, I believe, going into turn 3, just lost a little bit of grip. And what happened was there was a massive speed differential. I was actually quite surprised too watching the replay. But Marti can't really see him that well and just goes straight into the back of him and it completely destroys the suspension on the right front of his car. And for Aron, again, there wasn't a ton of visible damage, but it was enough to basically stop him from continuing. So both of them were out. So definitely Aron championship leader, so definitely has some championship implications there. For Hadjar, we didn't really see a great replay of what happened, but it looks like he went out at either a field or club, just went a bit too fast and went through the gravel and got beached. So yeah, unlucky for him. Lap 12 safety car ending, Behrman and Hauger have a nice battle, and Behrman was up to P8. Unfortunately for him, while that aggressive driving makes it so that it's easier to make moves, it also means it's a higher risk of a mistake, and that's exactly what happened in Sector 2 a couple corners later, where he basically just kind of lost it going through cops, and it just ends up going through the gravel and continues. Lap 16, Behrman falls to the back, and Martin was spun by O'Sullivan fighting for the points. Looking at the replay of that incident, it really looked like it was a bit of a 50-50. I think O'Sullivan probably should have backed out from that move, given he basically dove into the corner quite late. But for Martin, he did kind of shut the door on him, so it's kind of one of those things. If I had to give a penalty to someone, I'd probably give it to O'Sullivan, just because we've seen some similar moves over the last several months or so in F1 as well, in that situation where the stewards don't really like it when you kind of just stick a nose in really at the last moment. And I do believe O'Sullivan was given a penalty for that after the race as well. Let's see, so yeah, Behrman was at the back and he basically just stopped on the back straight. It seemed some kind of mechanical issue, so more bad luck for him, and Martin was also out after that spin. O'Sullivan in the pits as well with damage from that contact with Martins. Lap 17, virtual safety car ends. Let's see. It seems like they switched to a time race where they announced they had 4 minutes left, but then they changed back to laps right after, so I don't know if there was some kind of confusion about what protocol they were supposed to use to make that decision. But yeah, Durskin then spins at turn 1 fighting Miata. Just a silly mistake there, probably brakes a bit cold, tires a bit low on grip right after that VSC. Lap 19, Stanek overtakes Miata for turn 1, and I believe that was to get him up into the P9, I believe, P8, P9 at that point. Lap 20, really nice battle between Colapinto and Crawford through Sector 3. Both drivers basically re-overtaking each other through Vale and then wheel to wheel through Club as well. And I think Crawford eventually got the Colapinto, it seems, got the upper hand in that fight. Lap 21, Bortoletto trying the last lap move on Miney, and Antonelli, who's basically been out front this whole time, controlling the pace, building quite nice gaps to Maloney in second, wins the sprint race by 8.5 seconds. So really strong performance from Antonelli, didn't make a single mistake. And then the pace and the wet conditions were very good. Of course, it's easier being at the front because you don't have to deal with the spray of all the cars around you, but still really good performance from the young Italian. And Bortoletto overtook Miney at the line for P3, but he was given a penalty post-race because he basically cut the second last corner, which allowed him to make that move. But for Miney, luckily for him, it only really dropped him to P4 because there was enough of a gap behind to Colapinto in P5. So, looking at the result of the F2 sprint race for Britain, Antonelli made an F2 win, of course, and is a sprint race win, and he'll be looking to try to get a future race win at some point in the near future. Don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow, or I guess today my time, given that he's starting 10th on the grid, but still, good performance from him today. Maloney P2, Miney P3 as well. Bortoletto 4th, Colapinto 5th, Crawford 6th, Hauger 7th, and Stanek in 8th, getting a final point after starting last on the grid, so really good job from him. Barnard 9th, 10th, Miata 11th for sure, 12th, Correa, 13th, Fittipaldi, 14th, Villagomez, 15th, Cordial, and 16th, Durskin. Your DNFs list is quite long, not surprising for a wet session. O'Sullivan, Martin, Behrman, Hadjar, Aaron, and Marti all retired. So pretty decent F2 race. And now on to qualifying for F1, which will be out in a couple right after this video as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.